Hey traders, welcome. So we talked a little about money management before and money management strategies. I've been looking at the D'Alembert, if I pronounced that correctly. I'm not sure. I've only, as I say, looked up on the internet, money management. And this really comes down to looking at a kind of 50-50 trade, if you like. So this is from a betting perspective that I've looked at it. So in other words, you've got an outcome that's, red or black or 50-50, whatever it may be. But we can apply it to trading. And I'm just why I want to investigate a little bit more. I've talked about martingale. Now, martingale, as a reminder, guys, is where you have, let's say you have a starting bet of 2, whatever your position size is 2. If you lose, you go to 4, you go to 8, you go to 16. You just double it each time. Now, obviously, the downside of that, as we talked about, is that your position size gets big very, very quickly. But we also mentioned that perhaps if you're using it in the right conditions with a cap on the risk, it could work for you. This is not completely eliminated it. And then there's anti-martingale as well. But this one is, as I say, D'Alembert, I believe is how you pronounce it. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. So the idea of this is that let's look at it from a pure 50-50 outcome perspective, and then let's see if we can put that into a trading rule to see if there's any advantage to this. So it's all about money management. It's not about strategy or anything like that. It's all about how you're allocating risk capital to each bet in this instance. So I've said trade, but bear with me on this. So bet one or trade one or kind of game one, whatever you want to call it. Your size is X, and that's the lowest number you can do. And that could be 1, it could be 10, it could be 100, it could be contracts, it could be whatever, but you've got literally a fixed number of X. And with every outcome that's a loss, you add 1 to that. So in other words, if you're starting out with £1 or 100, you're adding 1 to it. So let's say you start with £1, you then do next bet. If you lose that one, you increment it by 1, you do £2. The next bet you lose that one again. The next bet you do £3. You lose that one, so the next bet you do 4. So instead of martingale, you're doubling it, you're just adding 1 to it. You're just adding 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, now the fourth bet or fourth game or fourth trade, this one you've won. So you've won 4 times back. In this case, 1, so you've won 4 back. You're not quite back to where you were, but you start to go down the scale now. For every time you win, you move down the scale by 1. So your next bet is 3x, in this case 3. You win that again, great, you're now in profit. You win that again, so you go down, 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 until you're back down to x, and you never go below x. Okay, so you just literally stagger it up and stagger it down. Now, the advantage of this obviously is over martingale, you don't get really ridiculous very, very quickly. Although you can, if you have a series of kind of 20 in a row, if X is too high for you in the beginning, it may be not so great. But the difference with this is that you're not going to get your money back straight away. In martingale, the idea is that the next spin gets you back to where you were. The idea of this is that over a multiple period of time, the losers won't damage you too much, and it'll only take a few winners for you to get back to where you were and hopefully get into a profit. Now, obviously, that profit is going to be small because the increments are small. So that's kind of the theory of it. It's a kind of step up or step down process depending on whether you're winning or losing. So we've got the theory behind it. Can it work in trading? Let's have a little look. So if we imagine that we had a fixed outcome and we had a 50-50 trade, we had something with let's say a 20-tick stop, 20-tick target. We've made it as 50-50 as we can because we can't kind of skew it. Maybe we can go a little bit more advanced later on and look at how we could adjust the risk reward to use this. But let's say we did that. Could we use this as a strategy? Yeah, we probably could, and actually it may not damage us too much. So let's say we started out at 1 contract, or we started out at £1 a point, for example. If we were spread betting, go up to £2 a point. If we lost, then we'd go up to £3 a point, £4 a point, back down to 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Over time, this sort of scenario would work for us. The interesting thing is we'd have to have something where we did have that equal win, equal loss kind of scenario. Say like a 20-tick thing, 20-tick loss, 20-tick profit, 20-tick loss, should I say. And actually, if we managed to get ourselves in a situation where we were better than 50%, this would probably yield quite good results for us. If we were 50%, over time, we're guaranteed to make a profit. As you can see from this, if we can stand the string of losers, so if we're just literally taking it, we can stand how much that potentially could get. Eventually, we could come back and the winners will. That's the kind of the principle of it, is if you can stand the losers for long enough, you will eventually come back, because of the 50-50 outcome. Again, we talked about, you are going to get strings of winners, strings of losers, but ultimately, the way that this is structured means that you will eventually have some profit. Now, whether that's enough, who knows? And actually, if you're doing 20 ticks, let's say you're doing 20 tick profit, 20 tick target, 20 tick stop. Let's say you had a string of 10 losers in a row. All of a sudden, you're risking kind of £20. You've now lost a 40. You can see how quickly that can get quite against you. And same with all these kind of betting things, betting strategies, and betting principles. So, how could we do it with if our money management was this D'Alembert strategy, but we're using a risk reward ratio of kind of 2 to 1, 3 to 1? Would that make things different? It probably would, but don't forget that the odds of something moving, if we're just looking purely from a statistical perspective, the odds of something moving twice as far are half as much as they are moving half as far, if that makes sense. So the odds of it moving, from here to here, are double than moving it from here to here. So in other words, twice as likely to move here as it is to here. So in other words, it almost cancels it out in a way. But it'd be interesting to see, actually. It'd be interesting to see somebody to kind of, use that. Perhaps you could this is the kind of thing that you could use with back testing. You could literally have a coin toss strategy with trading, an X tick stop, an X tick loss, using this, and kind of see how the P&L moves. It'd be interesting to see how the maximum excursion is, how much maximum loss you take, how much profit you can potentially get out of it. That would be an interesting thing if someone did that. So anyway, that's a D'Alembert money management. Go and have a check out on Google if you want to read more. Interesting. Don't think it's anything amazing. Doesn't blow me away, but perhaps something to consider under the right conditions. All right, guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and comments below as always. Appreciate it. Take care. See you soon. Bye bye.